outer space here could come where I could, see you. You at least come within spitting distance. That's and if somebody would be good enough to get some water, I'd appreciate it. One word for me, they do what they like. Oh, I see. All right, I guess so. Well, it's nice to see you again. Let's see some new faces today. How many people didn't come yesterday? Good. Are you from most of you? Yeah, are you? I wish I were. I'll have to go over a little ground for these new people. Is that all right? Old people?
So you bring across out this afternoon?
Not this afternoon. No, not this afternoon. Prelude to what I want to do for the new blokes and blokesses. Now, the purpose of my work here, I hope to, yes. Yes. Oh yes, I got I got regular water here. I don't want to be burping all the way through my seminar. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Now the purpose, can you just turn it down just a wee bit, because I don't like to hear my own voice, can't stand it. Turn it down just a wee bit, because I don't like to hear my own voice, can't stand it. Thank you very much. Is that all right? Can you all hear then? Good. The purpose of what I'm trying to accomplish here is not to create another organization to which you are all addicted. That is, you're addicted to psychiatry, addicted to psychology, addicted to medicine, addicted to your church, addicted to your government for whatever it is you need for your existence. But you're not independent. Now the purpose, the diabolical, if I may use the word plot, culmination very soon in this modern world, because of mass communication and that sort of thing, is total control and domination over all of you. Like a one world government. The only thing that can defeat that and keep you free is assaulting you. You are not aware of the forces that are arrayed against you and how they're being used. You're not aware of how you're being influenced. You're not aware that you are influenced. As a matter of fact, if there's anything wrong with you, you're not aware of that either. All you do is feel pain and you want to go to the doctor again. Or get some sympathy from your girlfriends or whoever, from your local bar. You always relieve your pain of being influenced by more influence, which leaves you with more pain to be relieved by more influence, which means you're always reducing your consciousness and escape, called denial. That's where President Clinton ought to be found, in denial, down, face down. In denial. Anyway, what I propose to do is not only help you to become whole people so that you never need anyone again, not even your lover. That is the worst kind of influence. I'm going to talk about that later on. The most dangerous kind of influence is love. and hate. The most dangerous kind of influence is love and hate. You have a love-hate relationship with a person you think you love. You see? And that will cover all of that. Slowly but surely we'll cover the ground we covered yesterday in a different way. It's always the same. I just use different examples. And hoping that you will suddenly identify with what I've been saying. Oh yeah, I see that. I understand what he's saying. Now I can relate to that. So the question is, can I get you to relate to what I'm saying? I'm starting out by saying to you, you're all out of control. No soul in the world that has any control over their own life. But we all think we do. We're a dog-eat-dog world. We wimp out to one person and dominate another. Some of the wimpiest people have someone they can dominate. I couldn't believe one day I was dealing with the wimpiest lady I ever met in my life. But she had a husband who was even wimpier than her. Couldn't believe it. That somebody that wimpy could find someone lower on the scale on the totem pole. But we're a dog-eat-dog nation of people. You know, and strange things happen when you dominate another because you get power from them. And you're strong from them. And you're strong before the weak, weak before the strong. You knock others down, build yourself up. You don't even know you're doing it. Because the easiest person and the safest person to do it to is your own kid. And that's where all the problems come in the world. The next husband, your husband takes it out on you, you take it out on your kids, and the kids take it out on butterflies, tearing the butterflies' wings off. See? We're all mentally ill, basically. And there's hardly a person in the world that is sane. Although you do have moments of sanity, because you do kind of know what's going on. You know, you can sort of gripe and then you can see the absurdities. Of course, absurdities you can always see up to a certain phase in your existence, and then you don't see them anymore, they seem normal. The world around you is always holding an absurdity as if it was normal, to make you doubt what you see, and make you think you're daft. I'm learning English now since I've been back. They make you think you're nuts for seeing that they're nuts. And after a while you adapt. Unconsciously you adapt. You have to be unconscious to it because you can't unconsciously you adapt. You have to be unconscious to it because you can't stand the pain of hating what is being presented to you as normal. You get upset, you give in. One of the ways that if I wanted to start a new bathing suit, I don't know how you can have. Pardon? What? The what? Oh, the handheld one? Here I am. Can you hear that better? Hello. If I wanted to introduce a new bathing suit, bathing suits used to be down to here, right, for the ladies. Of course, I don't know if you can have any new bathing suits. There wouldn't be any bathing suits at all. They got it sort of shaved down. So, but point is, the way you break, they got it sort of shaved down. So, but point is, the way you break the conditioning, this cultural conditioning, is to do something shocking, outrageous. You intimidate a whole population. So you parade this pretty girl with not hardly anything on, and you break the spell. And how you do it is that's how you do it. You brazenly and without shame display your new bathing suit, and you create an uproar. And you create an outrage and an uproar. After a while, the uproar goes away and people have adapted to it. Now, for instance, you've got gasoline or petrol here at £3 is a gallon. Petrol here at £3 is a gallon. £3 a gallon. That's $5 a gallon, roughly, in America. We pay $1.19. So, and even then we pay 50% of that's tax. So the poor all, and we pay for 50 cents worth of gas. The rest of it's tax. Now, how can you stand that outrage? But you're used to it. See? You pay as much tax as your income tax as we do at home, but you pay 17% VAT, you call it. VAT, you call it, right? Outrageous! See? The American Revolution was fought for 7% tax on tea. They threw everybody in the Boston harbor. That was the shock around the world. You buy a car here, and you pay about 70% tax over the 70. There's taxes built into the car when they're building it. So it comes to about £15,000 for a car. Then you add another 10,000 or 12,000 tax on top of that, and you throw it in boiling water. It'll jump straight out. But if you put a frog in cold water and bring it slowly to a boil, you can boil it to death. You are being boiled to death. See? And there you can see the average Englishman. I walk, if you don't mind me introducing the way I see things as I came over here, not being brainwashed like you guys. So I'm looking at this money. Whoever invented this money came out of the loony bin. First of all, it isn't money. It's just you can stamp that money better in your backyard and down underneath in your garage with some metal press. Down underneath in your garage with some metal press. I mean, it's the ugliest. At least America has good-looking money. It's fake money, but it looks like the real money that used to be. At least they had the decency to make it look like money. It used to be. At least they had the decency to make it look like money. Yeah. Here, you don't care because you're all so dumb. See? And so I would say to people, talk about the money and the inflation, and this is the average reaction I get. Well, yeah, I bet you did. You get used to it. You get used to it because slowly but surely your spirit is being eroded. I come to the United Kingdom and I find nothing else but wimpy, broken people. Frightened of their own shadow, frightened to speak up about truth, afraid of offending people, not hurting people's feelings. Cowardly, you have a cowardly nation, a cowering nation, and a government that's taking more and more rights away. But you put up with it because you are being conditioned to, ever since you, from the cradle. But you put up with it because you are being conditioned to, ever since you, from the cradle to the grave. Where your conditioning comes in is your home. And I was saying yesterday that the Soviet Union had an experiment, and the Pavlovian scientists have perfected the art of mind control using the pattern of the dysfunctional family. Use that word here, dysfunctional family. Mad is the word, not dysfunctional. I have a dysfunctional machine, but a dysfunctional person is a mad person. Insane. They take the insanity, which goes from generation to generation. It's always been there. It's called original sin. Hell coming through every generation, and sort of planting its programming into each succeeding generation so as to affect them in that stage of life, where they are the actors on the stage, reading the same lines, dying the same death. Same old play, same old tragedy play. And so they've taken this violence, revolution, criminality, then you get conformity. So what the Soviet Union wants, what socialists wants, the engineering of socialism wants, is conformity. But they will kill those who do not conform in very strange ways. So they took, Aldous Huxley describes in his book Brave New World Revisited. You need to get a copy of the book. He'll give you the exact numbers. I don't remember them. I just read it. But I understand the principle of social engineering. The principle, once you understand a principle, you can recognize it in any of its. The principle, once you understand a principle, you can recognize it in any of its forms. But they take the people and put them in a concentration camp and subject them to the most heinous cruelties, such as you found in any home: confusions, driving you insane, knocking you down, snitches, betrayals, starvation, deprivations, brainwashing. I mean, reading, forcing people to learn stuff that isn't any useless, but forcing them to remember it to save their lives and all that sort of thing. By the time they finish with confounding and save their lives and all that sort of thing. By the time they finish with confounding and confusing everybody, the camp is divided up into several sections. Those who go insane, fine, that's good business. Those who go insane, that's an industry. You take care of them. You raise taxes for that, see? See? Alcoholism, drug addiction, that's good business for government. You need more programs, and you get taxes from the people to support those programs, and with those programs you make everybody worse. And then you've got more taxes demanded to solve the problems you yourself created. Brilliant. This country. See? This is a socialist plot. You're becoming Sovietized over here. It's already happening in America, but there will be a revolution in America very soon. Watch for it. They got guns here, you don't. Too bad for you. They won't put up with over there. Anyway, you'll put up with. They won't put up with over there. Anyway, you'll put up with anything. But say 20% go crazy. They're not a threat to the system. Another 25% will commit suicide. Look at that rising rate of suicide in America. In America, it's now the number one leading cause of death for young people. Number two leading cause. It's unbelievable. No one ever heard of such a thing. Some of them will rebel and retain their integrity. They'll kill them. You've got to pretend to be crazy to see. But the last group, they will conform and become good little socialists. They put them in charge, and you can send them around the world, like Patty Hearst. She did all those things because she rather do. Like Patty Hearst. She did all those things because she rather do them than admit to herself that she would have been brainwashed. She wanted to make it think it was her own idea. It becomes your own idea. If you come tomorrow, I will show you how people who have been brainwashed, I will brainwash somebody. Some of you are so easily conditioned, I can take over somebody else's hypnotic conditioning of you and make you do a little soft shoe according to my will. All of you have somebody who knows how to reach inside you and press your buttons. You go your little inner reaction and make and take over your conditioning to serve their purpose. Anyway, you're going to have what you have in your government now is socialists. You have change agents in your schools. You can't see it. You know your education system is falling apart. Change agents in your schools. You can't see it. You know your education system is falling apart. But what do? Nothing. You see your children being dysfunctionalized, becoming dyslexic. They're putting them on drugs, Ritalin. You have Ritalin over here? You have some kind of drug that helps the kids to become functional. Part of a diabolical scheme, but you're too cowardly, collectively, individually, to do anything about it. And this is what your sickness is. This is what your sickness is. You do not know how to stand up to authority. And slowly you are surrendering your sovereignty to authority. I'm advocating anarchy. Because what I'm advocating is a new kind of order on earth, as it is in heaven. The government of God on earth. But you see, each one of you, whether you come from Timbuktu, Barbados, Haiti, from Timbuktu, Barbados, Haiti, Iceland, Romania, Scotland. I don't know where you come from, Ireland. It doesn't make a difference where you come from. The fact that you're all human beings and you have one quality about you, one animal kingdom, it's called conscience. You can have a false conscience, and we're talking about a false conscience. I can create in you a false conscience, and it will answer to me the source of that creation of that false conscience. You all have a false conscience which is stronger than your real one, which is the enemy of the real one. And that's why you have conflict. But you're slowly caving into your false conscience, and you're pursued to the grave by your real one. And why do you drink yourself to death? Why do you sex yourself to death? Why do you music yourself to death? Why do you study yourself to death? Why do you escape all your life from one? Why do you study yourself to death? Why do you escape all your life from one level to another, like a monkey swinging down to hell by its prehensile tail, from branch to branch, to unconsciousness to unconsciousness? Why? It's because of shame and guilt. Because when sickness gets inside you, when illness, you will protect it. You will become defensive. You will make excuses. You will put up a smoke screen. You will put up a cloud cover against that reality that's trying to bring you back. It's like West Germany and East Germany used to be. West Germany was freedom, supposedly, and East Germany was dictatorship and communism. Each has a different tutelage. Each has a different head to which everything is subject. If you freedom on one side, if you're foolish enough to go to the other side, you come under that whole system. If you're foolish enough to cross the border of your conscience, you come under the system. And you have to do what the system dictates. May the Lord have mercy on your soul. What the hell do you think you're living for? Just for fun? You came on earth just to have a good time? Then die? You're kidding me, are you? You think life has no purpose? It doesn't serve any purpose? Well, if you serve your own purpose, and you're not even doing that when you're serving your own purpose, you see. It only has the illusion of serving your own purpose. Because that's how the system gets to you, by appealing to your base instinct. See? And pulling you down into it. And sort of soothing you, and controlling you, and controlling you, and comforting you in that. Giving you a brownie button for being weak. So you can rise to the highest ranks. You want to go to the highest places in government? You find the most degenerate hypocrites that ever walked the face of the earth. They've got to give up their soul to have power. They're the most powerless to that power, deferring their souls to the higher order. Because down is up in the kingdom of hell. See, down is up. So you're moving away from truth, moving away from the conscience, and being rewarded for having none. From the conscience, and being rewarded for having none. And that's like life to you. That's like being a complete person. Actually, a complete ass, but you don't know it. Because you're caught up in the lie that you're more of a complete person. But don't look at government just for that. Just look at your girlfriend. She'll make an ass out of you. She'll make a monkey out of you and make this monkey think it's a man. Isn't that right, ladies? You know about that, don't you? You're good at that. You're born with those skills. Not to be mean or anything like that, but you are born with those talents. Men can conquer. See? I mean, women don't love men. Men don't love women. All that women do is just they just see the sucker that has got an unhealthy fascination for her, but she likes it because she's got an ego that loves the power. Another powerless person she likes it because she's got an ego that loves the power. Another powerless person getting power by capitalizing on someone's weakness, for reassurance that the monkey is a man. Now, the more you tell the monkey he's a man, the more of a monkey he becomes thinking he's a man. What an idiot. The monkey he's a man, the more of a monkey he becomes thinking he's a man. What an idiot. See? So no wonder he gets to a point in life where he sees he's been controlled. What can he do about it? He still needs that which makes him think like he's a man, but makes him more of a monkey. What is he going to do? It's the only one need he's got. He has a need to think. The monkey thinks that the only need he has, the only need he's ever developed in his life, is for that which is destroying him. It's the same with government. The more of an animal you become, and the more helpless you become, more of a degenerate you become, the more you need your drugs, the more you need your pushers. Your pusher is your government. So don't think just because your son is a drug addict that you're any better off. You're a woman addict. No wonder he's a drug addict, because he can see what you don't see. Right? You're telling him all this, is this the way of life is normal, son? You've got to settle down and become a wimp like your father. Isn't that right, Kim Masters? So, any questions so far? Good. Why? Oh, well, why? Well, you just want to talk about the origin of man. We'll get to that tomorrow.
Why do people do this?
No, they don't know the way back. He says, why do they do it? Why don't they turn back? They don't know the way back. So they go to church, because that's the way back. That's another hellhole. It's another set of traps. Well, of course, everybody who has any decency wants to find, the truth that will make them free. They know it's somewhere, but they think it's out there. And you go to 5,000 different churches, and you'll be caught up with the church. And you'll be caught up with the church. And they will give you the illusion that you're right when you're wrong. Well, your wife gives you the idea you're a man when you're a monkey. Now the church comes along and gives you the idea that you're a saint when you're a sinner.
We have to wait for somebody like you. We have to wait for somebody like you.
You've got to wait for somebody like me, yes. Not really, no, yes. Yes, beautiful lady. I know that. Would you allow them to do what he wants? He said, he obviously no. Sure. No, Marxism is a lie, because Marxism is what you had in Soviet Union, and you had the Gulag concentration camps for people who wanted to do what they liked. But if they don't like what you like, they'll shoot you. So you're dealing with what you like, they'll shoot you. So you're dealing with liars and deceivers. Do not have anything to do with this man, and don't engage in mental fisticuffs with him. You're not going to go anywhere. Just bring him here and let me have him for 10 minutes. For 10 minutes. Young lady, now look, let me just tell you something about people who are dysfunctional. What you have is a dysfunctionalized person creating more dysfunctionalized people. Very much mistaken, because he'll beat you. I warn you, he'll beat you, and I'll tell you how he'll do it. Because I can get you into an argument with me, and I'm smart enough to know to get you so riled up that I'll draw you into my whirlpool, and pretty soon you come away with all kinds of doubts about what you believe. See, you do not get in mind like that, which is deceptive, is to have been brainwashed in one way or another. We won't go. There are many ways of doing that to a man like that. He may have been born into an English family that was too English. He may have been hit over the head with a Bible. There you go, see? And driven to is a communist. Basically, he hated the war. He hated America for what it stood for. He hated his father. He hates the military, anything to do with man. He hates it. He goes to Russia. It only take you 15 minutes to program him. I can do it in 15 minutes to program him with a social him. I can do it in 15 minutes to program him with a socialist agenda, because he already has it inside him in his rebellion. See, so he has an affinity for it to begin with. You take the rebellion and you nurture that rebellion. See, it's very simple, and so it stays with you. And as long as you haven't overcome your hate, hatred of whatever it is, the rebellion in you is the dominant influence. See, I could win all kinds of wars. You should put me up there in the War Department. I can show them how to fight psychological warfare like you wouldn't believe. But anyway, but in a right way. How I deal with homosexuals. See, I'm often on USA radio confront with homosexuals. They love to talk about that, and they love to have me on to stir everybody up. But the way you deal with them is you never argue with them, because they have these arguments that seem better. But the way you deal with them is you never argue with them, because they have these arguments that seem better than the arguments you've got, and you cannot argue them out of it, because they have a root of this argument that is totally defensive of what they are, and it's almost offensive to what you are. And pretty soon you become so frustrated trying to what you are. And pretty soon you become so frustrated trying to reason with them that you begin to doubt your own sensibilities. What they're doing is intimidating you. What I do is out-intimidate them. I talk to them like they're dirt. Like they're really stupid. Totally confident, like they're really stupid. Totally confident. See? And you don't have to, I won't go into what I say to them, but the attitude is totally irritating to them. I was on a radio show one time, and this lesbian lady was on. People become lesbians. I was saying, well, how you become homosexuals. One of the ways is that you have extreme anger towards a cruel parent. Now, there's something about sin. Forgive me, I'm going to bring the word sin out of the air and polish it up, clean it up, and give it to you back, so that you understand what it is. So that you understand what it is. Trauma is sin. If you fall to any trauma and you yield to it, it programs you, and you're a slave of the program source. That's sin. In modern language, it's trauma. And trauma is what controls you and makes you lose identity. It introduces a new identity, that of the source, but with sexual feelings towards it. All sin, trauma, has sexual qualities, which tells you something about the fallen nature of man. Now you may not want to come back after I have heard me say what I'm about to. Man is meant to be eternal. The first two people, basically, were internal. They made the wrong choice. They sinned, and the sensuous nature awakens. And so they awaken to the strongest nature. They awaken to the strongest urge of animals. The most noble urge of the animal is the most base. The most noble urge of the animal is the most base urge of man. But then if you glorify this, if you find some lady who comes along and says, dear, darling, I just love you the way you are. See? And she glorifies your embarrassment. See, sexuality is always an embarrassment for men, isn't it, gentlemen? When you have a difficult time talking to your children about sex, especially the boys who walk around like this. Right? They're all embarrassed. It's because there is a self-consciousness about it. Because there is a friction at that point as to what that is. Adam saw he was naked. And he covered himself with fig leaves. And shame for the falling to the animal state. Children don't like to see their parents having sex. Children don't like to see their parents having sex. They don't like to think of their parents having sex. It's a shock to see where they come from. If you show a child, a baby being born, you could traumatize him.
He doesn't like to see himself coming that way. Well, the origin of sex is sin. Well, that's, but well, we're going to go, well, hang in there, because we are going to, I'm taking you too far. I'm just going to give you a little talk to you just about a little bit of experience I had on radio. But I was explaining to which is metaphysically highly advanced, but all trauma has sexuality connected to it. A sexual awakening. All sin, sexual awakening. Any kind of sin, even if you steal, you get an erection, or whatever you get if you're a woman. See?
How would you explain?
See?
How would you explain to people who say sex is against God?
No. Well, I won't. I'm not going to explain anything. I'm explaining my thing to you. You're going to be able to explain it but they won't be able to hear it. Those kind of people won't hear it anyway, because their sexuality when awakened anyway, because their sexuality when awakened that way by sin is the love that will eventually unite the world in hell. Did you hear what I just said? It's a common denominator, a sensuous love that they're encouraging women to turn men into studs, so they're no longer serving the kingdom of heaven, but they're serving the hell through that which has turned them on. And they can't turn themselves off. The more they want, the more they get, the more they want. See, and the more violent and more, they become beast men, devil's pawns. That's what you have in society, see? And the more you can excite men to be sexual and sensual, and women to be the whore centers, because it's the universal love of hell. That's why it's so important for them to teach sex in school, to demoralize your children. But anyway, I was making a point. So I was saying to this lesbian, one of the ways that lesbians become lesbians in childhood, there's 4 ways that people become homosexuals. It's all social engineering, conditioning. The first way is to have a very cruel mother. Mothers can be very, very cruel, who reject their female children because they want a male they can live through. So they will actually convert their daughters into male objects. And the way they do it unconsciously is to reject the femininity of a female, hate her for that, so she hates her own femininity. The hatred of her mother for doing that to her is so intense that it awakens a sexual feeling towards the mother. So you begin to have sexual feelings for another woman. But I'll tell you this. There used to be, in America, there was a joke going around because this young man was let out of mental hospital, and he had a thing for women's feet. No, for feet. He had a sexual feeling for people's feet. You can have a sexual feeling for a donut. I'm not joking with you. You can make a person have a sexual feeling for anything if you traumatize them with it. See, there's an old saying in America, whatever turns you on. See? Because human beings are perverse. You can hardly make animals perverse, but you can make human beings perverse very easily because they have a soul. And you can encourage that perverseness. Father degraded him horribly by making him cut the corns off his feet and suck his feet when he was a kid. Degraded him. Oh, the people do terrible things to people. You have no idea what goes on. You haven't got... Maybe you do. Maybe you come from a home like that. Maybe you can confirm some of the horrible things you do. Maybe you come from a home like that. Maybe you can confirm some of the horrible things parents make you do. So, anyway, he hated his father so much that suddenly he had a sexual feeling. And he began to have a love, sex, sensual, hate relationship with his father. He had a hate in order to love. Sensual, hate relationship with his father. He had a hate in order to love. There are some people have to hate women. If you want to have sex, get women to give you extra sex, make her hate you. Degrade her. Play hard to get. Put her down. Treat her like nothing. She'll hate you and have a sensual feeling for you. You can have all the sex you want. You can have all the sex you want. You men know that, don't you? How many guys know that? Well, maybe I shouldn't have told you. Well, I know all the tricks. I know the basis of them anyway. So, coming back to the lady, she got so angry with me. She got so angry with me. She was frothing at the mouth practically. I said, careful, you might get the hots for me and become normal. See? And everybody in the control room just cracked up. I could hardly contain myself. I'm like dirt. In a very dignified way. And that, you don't argue with them. You don't argue with people who are mad. Because their madness is always making you mad because they will never hear your argument. They get angry with you because you don't see it their way. And anytime by getting angry with you, making you think there's something wrong with you. Because when you were a kid, everybody was angry with you, meant that you were wrong. See? So you have to understand these techniques. That you just don't argue with a stupid Marxist. Now, I have a radio show in America, and I just creamed a university professor when he was there. I laughed him off the radio station. And it was talk of the town for weeks afterwards. And since then, no Marxist or liberal left has ever been on the station. Scared to death. Because those kinds of people, scared to death. Because those kinds of people don't have any substance. But they're very good at writing articles in the paper where there's no comeback. There's no penetration of their defensive. See? It's good for the BBC to talk to you, or whatever station it is, talk at you and you just get frustrated, or whatever station it is, talk at you and you just get frustrated and you can't hardly say anything, and if you try to say anything meaningful, they'll cut you off. Well, that's what your parents used to do, and that's what authority does, frustration. And you get the common sense and decency and character gets bred out of you through your decency and character gets bred out of you through your frustration. Yes. I won't refuse to take up a challenge. I'll treat him like dirt. But they don't. No. What I'm saying is you talk to him, if you're going to talk to him, but treat him with dignity and like he was dirt. And that no matter whatever he says, it doesn't influence. Just, in other words, he's trying to intimidate you. Those people, they know how to intimidate, but they do not know how to take it. They have been programmed by intimidation. That's why they are the way they are. See? And so they unconsciously are going to intimidate you to create a victim like they were a victim. But when they come at you to create a victim like they were a victim. But when they come to real intimidation in a positive sense, you just blow all their fuses. So, but it takes a little practice to deal with that. Yes. I don't have a philosophy. Yes. I don't have a philosophy. Thank you. Well, I got 5 children. Well, that was before I knew better. I haven't had sex with my wife for 20 years. No, I haven't needed to. I've turned her into a woman, not a bitch for my servicing my animal. No. I just finished saying that sex is unnaturally natural. That the first round of your existence is sensuality and sexual jollies, and pretty soon, suddenly, the fun that you had and the love that you had turns to hate. Look at all the divorces, and it's all over sex. It's all over sex. So what you're saying, you're really revealing yourself. You're just a sexual dog, and you just don't like what I just said. Is it all right, like?
Is it all right to get to live with them, to get to know them better?
No, it's no. My daughter did it right. She knew a young man for 7 years, and she remained chaste with him. See, he became friend. No, you're not human, ma'am. You're not human. No, you're not. Yes, I'm human, And I'm just criticizing your non-human, and your non-human doesn't like it. So get the hell out of here. Out of here. Good. No, you never, but you haven't raised your voice. She can't debate with me. What's the use of arguing with him? Because, no sense, because he won't let you speak. But she didn't speak. See? Coward. Coward. That's a sexual animal right there. They just left. Yes. Let me explain to you. All right, let me explain to you. Yeah, you'll make up your mind when I finish. When you hear what I'm talking about. I'm taking now. This is more advanced. You people who are new may not appreciate the things I'm saying. You're not ready for it. I'm very sorry about you not being ready for it. But this is a sorry about you not being ready for it. But this is a seminar for people who are ready for it, and you're just a guest if you're coming for the first time. So forgive me. You don't have to get upset. All you have to do is disagree with it. That lady that went out upset. And let me tell you what's going to happen to her. You don't want to know. See, let me tell you what's going to happen to her. You don't want to know. See, remember I was telling you about being upset yesterday, what happens when you're angry? There's nothing worse than being angry with someone who tells you the truth. It's bad enough that you hate somebody who's a liar, who's deceived you. Enough that you hate somebody who's a liar, who's deceived you. At least you can justify the hate you feel towards them. Is that right? But the truth, when somebody tells you about it, can be so offensive. It can be redeeming. It can also be offensive to a certain kind of person. And they will. But in a society, as long as we don't have communism, see, if we have communism, I'm the first person they come after, because communism teaches that man is an animal, and makes you refer to your animal, appeals to that, so they can control you. I'm telling you, no, you're not an animal. It's a lie. See, so it's bad enough that somebody is angry at someone who's dishonest and cheats them. But when a person is truthful...
For more information, please write to FHU 27 Old Gloucester Street, London, WC1N